Hi, Kevin.
Hello, Rebecca.
Here we are in the Readathon.
The Readathon.
And we are very much on the home stretch of the prosecution. I believe the defense is starting tomorrow, Friday, June 21st. Can you believe it?
Continues to go on.
I know Alan Jackson, though, says he was only going to need 3 days for the defense.
Is that his name, Alan Jackson?
His name's Alan Jackson.
Okay.
Yes, Alan Jackson, and the other lawyer is David Yannetti for the defense. He actually did some cross-examination.
I just need 3 days, bitches.
Yeah, and Judge Canone said, or Canone, I don't know how to pronounce. She doesn't say her own name, so who the fuck knows? Yeah. I'm calling her Canone. Said that she is her goal to give the jury the case by the end of next week, and apparently the defense is like, yep, that's going to be fine. That's all we need. So today was a very interesting day. We left, of course, on with voir dire day, and there were some rulings, some hanging chads left to be ruled upon. Dr. Dog, Dr. Marie Russell, the retired emergency room physician from California, who, by the way, was also a cop.
Retired cop as well, yes.
She's in. She's going to be allowed to testify, but she can only testify about what she thinks the injuries on his arm were. She cannot testify as to what they were not.
So she can give her opinion that it's dog bites, but she cannot give an opinion to the jury that it's not a car, it's not taillights.
It's not taillights, yeah. And she can also, like, she's very limited in scope.
Difference. Yep.
And she's limited in scope about police activity. Now, there's still some sort of like reserved rulings on the other two dudes. Remember the other two biomechanical engineer? Dr. Rentschler, the judge says she has some concerns.
Which one is he?
The second one, the one who has the military and
the
sports.
NHL?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not a doctor, so she has concerns about him speaking about where he obtained injuries. She doesn't have those concerns about Trooper Paul, but she has those concerns about this guy, so she's reserving some rulings on that. If he's in,
not a medical doctor.
If he's in, he's going to be extremely limited in the scope of his testimony.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, so let's put a pin in those guys.
I'm sorry, but the guy who developed a way to keep soldiers from having their spines ripped out when they go over IEDs in vehicles and prevent injuries from professional hockey players when they get checked into the boards by redesigning stuff may not have an informed opinion.
The guy who literally does crash tests with cars on dummies and assesses the injuries to potentially to human beings from not qualified. Okay. Anyway.
But he's not a doctor, right?
Correct. Anyway.
He does stuff.
So, you know who was back on the stand this morning?
No.
Trooper Kill Me, Nicholas Guarino.
Kill me. Trooper Kill, the one who had the hot mic moment where he said, kill me?
Yes.
Kill me. Explain who he is, how he fits in.
He is a trooper who did some analysis of cell phones and cell data. And, he's like an electronic digital expert for the state, for the Commonwealth. Okay. So he was back on the stand today talking about call logs, talking about chats, talking about all this stuff. And his big crown jewel of evidence was that he got to play some embarrassing voicemails from Karen Reed to John O'Keefe after she dropped him off, or they think killed him, gave him the fatal blow with her car at the house. Now, keep in mind, he was mortally wounded at the house, the Albert's house. Right. He was mortally wounded by the car and then had hypothermia. But this would allegedly be, according to the state's theory, after she on purpose struck him with her car. She called him 50 times. She left
literally 50 times?
Yes. She left 8 voicemails, and they played a few of them in court. These are the voicemails that they believe she left, I guess, as an attempt to cover up the fact that she had just struck him with her car. Do you want to hear a couple of them?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
John, I'm down with your kid. Nobody knows what the you want her. Yeah, it's 1 in the morning. I'm with your niece and nephew. You pervert. You're John, I'm going home. I cannot babysit me. I need to go home. You're using me right now. You're another girl. He's sleeping next to me. You're a loser. Get out.
Those are the voicemails I would leave if I was covering up for a murder that I just committed. Or
I'd say it's probably not a great plan.
Yeah.
That if you to threaten repeatedly on tape somebody that you just murdered.
Yeah, or just to say how I hate you.
Yeah.
You're a loser. You're a pervert. You're sleeping with someone else. I know it. No,
because that's the way everybody covers their tracks.
Yeah. If I were,
he's just like, hi. Well, I'm sorry. I forgive you. Or
I miss you.
Can't wait to see you.
When are you coming home?
You fucking pervert.
Yeah, I think this was really just played to shame her to make her look bad.
Yeah.
So, but to me, the most interesting part of Guarino's testimony. Was that he said this definitively. Reed's phone, quote, auto-connected to the password-protected Wi-Fi network in John O'Keefe's home at 12:36 a.m. Okay?
Okay, yep.
This brings up a whole fucking timeline question. Because in Adam Lally's opening arguments and in Trooper Proctor's testimony, they both said that she hit him with her car at 12:45 a.m. Trooper Proctor said around 12:45. Adam Lally said at 12:45. Jennifer McCabe said she saw her car outside at 12:45. Everyone puts her there at 12:45. But no, the data shows that at 12:36 a.m., her phone auto-connected to the Wi-Fi network at his home.
So 9 minutes before she was alleged to have struck him
Correct.
At the Albert's house.
Yep.
She was at his house.
Yes, and that voicemail
her phone was at his house.
Right,
yeah.
and that first voicemail you heard that was kind of faint that said, I fucking hate you, that was at 12:37 a.m. So she left that from his house, definitively.
Okay, yeah.
Now, I actually want to bring something up around timelines, okay? I'm going to skip ahead in my notes here because I was thinking about this.
The idea like that everybody else's timeline could be wrong? I mean, just like innocently wrong off by 10, 20 minutes?
I actually have something else that I want to bring up. Because there's actually data that actually is provable based on calls that actually did happen that we know happened, that the state says happened, that the data shows that's not disputable, okay? These are not deleted calls. They're not butt dials. These are things we know happen.
Yeah, well, those butt dials aren't butt dials either, but okay.
I actually now believe there's this whole thing about John and Karen driving to the house, her waiting outside, blah, blah, blah. I don't think she waited a second. I think she just dropped him off and left, like immediately. Here's why. 12:20-ish a.m., John gets off the phone with Jennifer McCabe about directions to 34 Fairview, okay? So they arrive.
And 34 Fairview is?
The house.
Albert's house.
Yeah. So they arrive, and so they're there. She's back at his house already. So the first call to John, Jennifer McCabe's, to John, arrived. There's a call from her phone to his phone at 12:29, right? She says she's continuing to look out the window to see if he's coming in. That's when the texts and butt dials start happening at 12:29. But the data shows that they actually arrive at the house at around 12:20 or very shortly after 12:20. I think that Karen just dropped him off there and left. Because she's at his house at 12:36 for sure.
And it's about a 5-minute drive roughly.
It is a very short drive, and there's something else that shows her at 12:33 as her first phone call where she's trying to reach him.
Yeah.
I think she made that call actually maybe she's out in the driveway in his house. Like, I think she just dropped him off and left. But
even she stopped like for a full 60 seconds. That's a long time. I mean, that doesn't mean that she like dropped off and then jammed it in reverse and spud the
right, but there's this whole idea about her sitting outside, waiting, becoming like enraged, something. I just don't think that fucking happened. Anyway, so that's kind of the big takeaway from him was the embarrassing but not guilty sounding voicemails and his new timeline stuff. Okay. So he then said that she called her parents around 1:10 a.m. They didn't pick up, and then she called him 3 times, and the third call was answered at 4:42 a.m., okay? Authorities could not obtain GPS coordinates on Reed's phone, suggesting location could have been turned off, but, they have that Wi-Fi connection. Then Guarino talks about O'Keefe's phone, and this is where listen, I am not a cell phone data expert, but I am an iPhone owner.
Okay, yeah.
And I walk a lot. And that I use my iPhone for the health and fitness apps all the fucking time.
Yep.
The state is asserting that the movement and step stuff on his phone just doesn't work. So
What do you mean it doesn't work?
There's
It's
this
malfunctioning?
Well, there's this whole thing where they're saying that the location of his phone. So it says his phone says that the health data point at one point has him going up and down stairs, has him walking a series of steps, has him doing whatever at like 12:22 a.m., which is, by the way, right after they would have arrived at the house.
Yeah.
It said 12:22 a.m. a health data point has him going up and down stairs.
The prosecution says this?
No, that's what his phone says.
That's what his phone says. And who's bringing this forward?
Guarino.
Okay.
They're saying that happened when he was in Karen's car.
He went up and down the stairs in the car?
And they're saying that they know that because the Waze app was open and that it was showing directions. Okay?
Okay.
So they said that they know that, blah, 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 that this phone was over a half a mile away when his phone's health data has him moving up and down stairs. They're saying that it had to have been the car going up and over a hill.
Oh, that's what the elevation was? What?
I fucking know for a fact, as somebody who uses their iPhone to walk, steps are steps. They are not elevation. It actually does it knows when you are stepping and it knows when you are driving.
Yeah.
It just does.
Well, the other thing can also be that it is the telephone that went upstairs. So it could be in the possession of somebody else, then it opens up a whole other bag of question. Like, why would someone else have John's phone?
It's incredible because the prosecution has been so precise on times for other people's phones.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, but the phones don't work for them. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, he's like, we went there in May of 2023. We're able to show that phones just don't work well at Fairview, and so we're able to show this. So
neither do clocks.
All right. So basically, by the way, is when he's cross-examined by Yannetti. Basically there's this whole thing about his education, whatever. And I'll get into the cross-examination a little bit later, but there's a really interesting thing about iPhones that Yannetti is able to point out. Guarino, by the way, on one says, when the phone says steps, it doesn't mean physical steps were taken. As an iPhone user with a pedometer, I am telling you, Kevin, this is just not true. Like the iPhone knows, when you're standing in place. The iPhone knows when you're riding. It does not count steps when you're riding a bike. It does not count. It knows when you are fucking taking
the
steps.
Gyroscopic technology.
Yes,
it knows.
It does not. It's not. I mean, there are a couple things that can do it, but driving in a car is not fucking one of those things. I know this because I fucking use my phone for this. So.
Because then if I went up a hill, I should see next time I drive up a hill, if my pedometer registered
10 million steps.
Yeah.
So. One of the things
measure just sort of the up, the physical,
correct,
up and down.
So
isn't that okay?
One of the things that happens on the cross is that Yannetti asked Guarino if he knows that iPhone apps can pull data from 3 different clocks when they timestamp location information.
Okay.
Guarino says yes, that's correct. Yannetti asked if the 3 clocks can be seconds apart or off by 3 minutes. I would have to see the data. Responds Guarino. So Yannetti shows Guarino a printout of O'Keefe's phone data with the 3 clocks included. And guess what?
What?
The 3 clocks are off by 3
minutes. Okay.
So he could be, the Waze that he was looking at was 3 minutes. That clock was 3 minutes off from the Steps app clock.
Aren't they just saying that the Waze app was open?
No, he was looking for Waze. He was actually following Waze directions.
Yeah.
At the same time, the steps were being recorded, according to Yannetti.
Okay.
But the 2 clocks on those apps were 3 minutes off.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting. But also, again, we're talking about leaving tabs open. Like, if he didn't close out that app, it would continue to run while he's in the house.
What Yannetti is saying is that he was using Waze 3 minutes before these steps.
Yep.
But Waze is saying it's the same time because the apps are 3 minutes apart clockwise.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So that was an interesting moment, and I think it's worth noting. And by the way, there's a whole thing about when they talk about where they found the phone. We believe we were within 3 feet of the body exactly when we found the phone. Again, it's where we believe where the body was because they don't fucking know, which is wild to me. All right. So all that happens when Yannetti's on the stand. There's the cross. He kind of does the whole thing where he embarrasses him about his credentials again, which I find kind of upsetting, to be completely honest with you. There's one thing that I found really upsetting today that Lally tried to get in. Evidence he tried to get in. On February 1st, Karen did a Google search for DUI attorneys. This was after she'd been questioned by Michael Proctor.
Okay.
The prosecution tried to get the Google search for DUI attorneys entered in as evidence as her consciousness of guilt.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Let me try to objectively look at that. Well, consciousness of guilt.
She had been interviewed by a cop about an incident, and so she Googled DUI attorneys.
It's weak tea. If it was homicide attorneys,
doesn't matter.
No, I think there's a difference, but I don't.
Doesn't matter.
I think it seems. I think it seems pretty normal. What do you think? Why do you?
I think that every citizen has a right to get a fucking lawyer.
That's what I'm saying. You're not listening to me at all.
Yeah, I was disgusted by this.
Yeah, no, I think that like I said, that's pretty weak tea to say that's proof of consciousness of guilt because she was looking up a DWI attorney after knowing that after basically telling everybody that she'd been drunk driving. If she was looking up criminal attorney or even homicide attorney, then that shows something else, right? Yeah. I don't know even if that's if that's something that should be admissible, but I think that DWI attorney doesn't say anything. I
don't think a search for an attorney of any kind should be admissible. No. It is your right to have an attorney, your constitutionally protected right, and the search for that attorney should not be entered into evidence because it is your constitutionally protected right to have an attorney. Yeah. Ultimately, that's what the judge ruled. Yeah. Not allowed in. However,
did the jury hear that?
I think that was a sidebar.
Yeah. Okay.
But if what the judge said was if the door opens for it, then you can ask about it. Door never opened, didn't come up.
Yeah.
I was disgusted. I actually thought this was an appealable instance, to be honest with you. I was like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
And you
That's
fucking
like
know
saying,
better.
well, she asked for an attorney, therefore she knew that she needed one. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Something like that.
That's exactly what it made me think.
Yeah, that's the implication. Right.
It's real gross. So, interesting other thing about the cross-examination of Guarino. Some more deleted phone calls came up, okay? By the way, the number of steps show him taking 80 steps between 12:21 and 12:24 a.m., which is really interesting. Anyway, so he attributes it to movement of the phone, but anyway, in the car. Anyway, so the whole thing is Jennifer McCabe has deleted phone calls on her phone. She calls the sister at in the very early hours of the morning sometime, and basically he says that those calls to the sister were not user generated. The deleted calls, the deletions, were phone generated and not user generated.
Okay, so he's saying a human didn't delete these records.
Yes,
the phone company did.
Correct. And at one point, he's like, were there any like phone deleted calls on Karen Reed's phone? Deleted calls of any kind? The answer, of course, was no.
Everybody's phone here is like fucked up. It's everybody's butt dialing and erasing things, and we don't even know how that happened.
Correct.
That's why we all had to get new phones.
Right.
Yeah.
So there were two more.
And destroy the SIM cards.
Oh, I know. There were two more witnesses today. One of them was a specialist from the chief medical examiner's office, Dr. Renee Stonebridge. This was a relatively short piece of testimony, and she basically said that she did not see any evidence of aneurysm or natural disease on John O'Keefe's brain. She said that there was a hemorrhage in the front of his brain and many contusions to the front of his brain. She said it's not something you could count because it would take too long to count. Contusions indicate there was enough pressure on his brain to cause a lot of blood vessels to rupture in his brain, and that she determined his injuries were acute traumatic injuries. He had some type of trauma. And basically Lally was like, can you opine on what caused the injuries? And all she said was, it was caused by something that had some kind of force. Question, could these be consistent with being struck by a vehicle or a fall and falling to the ground? And she's like, they could be. No cross-examination of Stonebridge. Next witness, and this was the one that took much longer. We ended the day here, and I believe she'll be recalled tomorrow.
See, I'll just say one thing. I would have, if I were the defense, maybe he knows the answer to the question, but I would have gotten up and asked, if it were not for the hypothermia, there's a lot of talk about hypothermia, right? And that's, I guess they said that the cause of death is hypothermia.
Yeah, that's the next witness.
Oh, that's a different witness.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, go on because
there were two medical examiner witnesses.
My apologies. Okay, yeah.
The next one was Dr. Irina Scorti-Bello, who was up for a long time and is going to be recalled tomorrow.
Okay.
She's the one who looks like Sarah Koenig a little bit.
Okay.
She's the board certified for anatomic pathology and forensic pathology. She's the one who performed the autopsy. She said she noticed that there had been attempts to resuscitate John. She's the one who said that she could not determine the manner of death. Of course, you know what manner of death is. It's either homicide,
suicide, accident.
So she said, of course, she can't do that.
Yeah.
Cause of death is blunt impact injuries.
We will try you for homicide, even though the manner of death has not been determined to be homicide. But
right.
Okay.
Cause of death was blunt impact injuries of head and hypothermia. His head had a number of injuries. She talked about the huge swelling of his eyes. She said that the raccoon eyes is a very common symptom of head injuries, skull fractures. She said if you have multiple skull fractures, those raccoon eyes can happen.
Yeah.
She talked about the somewhat linear abrasions to his arm.
Okay. Somewhat linear.
Yep. And she also said that she talked extensively about the abrasions on his arm. She talked about abrasions on his upper inner right arm, abrasions on the outside of his right arm and forearm, and abrasions on both of his hands and his right knee. She also talked about, when she was asked about whether he could have been in a fight, she was like, I don't think so. She talked about some wounds or abrasions on the tops of his hands.
Okay.
But she said there was nothing on his knuckles, but she said there was something on the tops of his hands, which she sort of said could have been from him trying to get up. It was a very hard, strange explanation, but she said there was nothing on his knuckles or anything. But she basically, it sounded like there were a lot of injuries to his head, multiple skull fractures, subdural hemorrhage, lacerations on his scalp due to a fracture on the back of the head. His head came in contact with a blunt object, multiple fractures in multiple chambers and parts of the skull, extensive. His toxicology, his blood alcohol level. What's the legal limit in Massachusetts? Do you know?
I think it's to drive. I think it's I think it's 0.00. I mean 0.08.
Yep. His blood alcohol level was 0.21.
Oh wow.
2.5 times. Like almost 2.5 times legal.
That's why he wasn't driving.
Right.
But it's also, if someone were in a physical altercation with that level of intoxication, you can see a situation where he's not able to get his hands up to be able to punch.
Correct.
So like, why aren't the knuckles all messed up? Because, maybe all he could really muster in that state was to try to defend himself.
Right.
And if he's hit in the head multiple times. Anyway, that's presuming that he was in a fight and he wasn't struck by the car, and that's how he wound up in the cell.
Right.
Okay.
That's right. So that was kind of where it ended off today. There were some pictures of John's body they presented, and then the judge called it for the day. Actually, the trial went on today. It was actually a full day, which shocked me because they call it a full day sometimes and it's just not. But this, the medical examiner seemed smart. The medical examiner seemed, measured, not like in the bag for anybody, but definitely like not trying to draw particular
not carrying
conclusions.
Anybody's water. Yeah.
No, but at the same time, I will say the injuries seem bad. The injuries don't seem like. Oh, one thing that she said was very interesting. Looking at photos of the crime scene, looking at other stuff, she does not believe his whatever. He didn't move very far. If it was like an impact injury outside, like his body did not move far. Again, contradicting Trooper Paul.
He didn't get knocked 30 feet.
He didn't get pushed 30 feet, according to
yards,
her analysis of whatever, the pictures and everything that she saw. There's just so many contradictions. Trooper Paul really, like, everything he said was basically knocked down by shit that came out today.
Is he a doctor?
No.
Paul? No, he's not.
Not a doctor.
Here's the thing that I'd be looking for if I were in the defense is obviously I think you have to ask, multiple skull fractures. Did all these skull fractures happen at once? Or is there evidence they happened, one after another or whatever? But I would want to get her to say that, were it not for the hypothermia, would the physical injuries on John O'Keefe cause his death alone?
Yeah. Interesting.
Because if you still have to go back and defend against the claim that this is manslaughter and that she intentionally tried to kill him with her car, you could make sort of this backup argument that, look, she wasn't trying to kill him and kill him and hit him and then leave him in the snow.
Yeah.
Right. That even if she did strike him, that in and of itself wasn't. That how do you prove premeditation with that? I don't know. I think that there's something there, but. That isn't their strongest argument, obviously.
Yeah. So something else came up with Guarino today that I think is going to come back, or it might not come back, but I think it's casting doubt on
and Guarino
stuff.
Again is
the cop, Dr. Trooper Kilme.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing about chain of custody of John O'Keefe's phone.
Mm-hmm.
So Guarino received the phone, I guess, on, right after the incident, and basically asked, Yannetti kept asking him, did Proctor give you the phone? And he was really reticent to say where the phone was, how he got it. Did Proctor say that he got the phone from Fairview and then gave it to you? And he's like, I don't think so. I don't know. Did he tell you? Oh, here's the question. Did Michael Proctor tell you that he had received or retrieved O'Keefe's phone from the house, 34 Fairview? No, said Guarino. At some point during the day, they did get it. I don't know where from. And then he had him read a portion of his February 4th report. And it said, Proctor secured O'Keefe's phone while on the scene. It's like, read your fucking reports before you testify, you weirdos.
But is he trying to make the distinction they got the phone in the house, which is what that question was?
No, on the scene. So basically it's a chain of custody issue. Yeah. So basically,
but if he found the phone in the house, it's like game over, right? Yeah.
No, so here's the whole thing. The whole thing is there location data for the phone? So apparently the phone didn't go into airplane mode until a while after it was picked up at the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what might come up is location data on John O'Keefe's phone after it was picked up at Fairview before it was given to this dude Guarino to examine.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they didn't apparently the airplane mode, because he specifically asked him, how do you turn off a phone registering movement? And he says the only way to do that is putting it into airplane mode.
Mm-hmm. And
he asked him, when that phone was seized, no investigator put it into airplane mode, right? And he was like, no. And basically, O'Keefe's phone had GPS points throughout the day on the 29th after he died. It wasn't put in airplane mode for several hours.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, that's correct. And I'm like, oh, these fucking yokels, right? So I don't know if it's going to come up later that the phone, I don't know, was it somewhere it shouldn't be? I don't know. But that came up today and I was very, very curious about it. The 607 call from Jennifer McCabe's phone to someone named Coco.
Mm-hmm.
And listed as answered and then deleted. That was the call that he says that the phone itself deleted and not Jennifer McCabe. I don't know the meaning of that, but apparently yet another mysterious phone call that
Coco, mysterious Coco.
Yeah, maybe it's the gorilla that does sign language. I don't think so. I think it's just her sister, actually. Anyway, so that was today, and this is the wrap up apparently of the prosecution. We're either at the end or very near the end, and we're going to be going into defense land. And I got to say, I'm super looking forward to 3 days of super tight testimony and questioning. What are you looking forward to hearing from the defense?
I want to know if they're going to pull a big witness out of the hat. Somebody who's going to say, I was inside the house and X, Y, and Z. Because it certainly seems like...
the witness list is out there. I don't think there's anyone like that on it.
Well, you don't know until they say it, right?
Yeah.
Obviously the feds have some source for their grand jury investigation that the state isn't using, or so. I don't know. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the expert testimony from the folks that were voir dire. I'd like to hear them present to the jury their findings.
Yeah, I think that on their witness list there's going to be some expert who's just going to come up and be able to definitively say stuff about phone data that has just been so poorly presented by these state troopers from Massachusetts. They're just going to be able to say, this is what it actually means, this is what it actually looks like, and they're going to be able to present their credentials so well And that's why they keep asking these cops. They're not trying to embarrass. I mean, they are in some sense trying to embarrass these cops when they're like, you have your associate's degree, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. But what's going to happen is these experts are going to come up and it's going to be like, I went to MIT and I literally wrote a book about X.
Right.
And I invented the technology that makes it so that your pedometer only does blah, blah, blah. That's what I think is more likely to happen. So we'll see. And I guess tomorrow is the day we start finding out. I can't wait.
Yes.
All right, future readathons. And I just want to let you know, listeners, if you would like to send us a question or comment about the Karen Read case, we'd be happy to look into it for you. We'd be happy to talk about it on the podcast. I've already gotten a couple. I'd love to get some more. Record it on your voice memo app on your iPhone or other kind of phone and email us at crimewriterson@gmail.com, or just send us an email if you'd rather do that and we will read it. We're going to be producing an episode with your questions and comments in the coming days. I cannot wait. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me for this edition of the Readathon.
Sounds great.
Talk soon.
Partners in Crime Media.